Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. My name is Ruta Betsunene. I am Vice President of Residency and Fellowship Strategy here at Residence Medical. Welcome, everyone. Today, we really have a very important topic to discuss, and it is how international medical graduates globally suffered this match and how you can still land your residency. Everybody really knows that this past match cycle was difficult for many international medical graduates around the world, no matter where they are. Strong candidates went unmatched, timelines became really tighter, competition increased, and for many, many applicants, this process felt very uncertain and more stressful than ever before. But today, the message today is not just about what did not go right, what went wrong. It is about what we can still do and what can still be done. There are still pathways, there are still opportunities, and there are still ways to position yourself if you are strategic, if you understand the system, if you act early and take the right steps right now. Today, we want to have an honest and practical conversation about what happened in this match, what IMGs globally are facing right now, and most importantly, what you can do from this point forward to improve your chances of securing residency. We have a great panel today with us, and they bring really very different perspectives, real-world experiences, and direct insight from the IMG journey. Today, we have very prominent panel joining us. We will have Dr. Michael Everest, the founder, chairman, and chief academic officer of Residence Medical, joining. We do have Dr. Sebastian Aruarana, founder of Project IMG. We have Dr. Abhishek, medical director, joining from India. We do have our IMG champions, Dr. Anderson Pena, working with Latin America countries, Simon Lee, championing the Chinese and Asian markets. And we do have Mr. Saeed Taksin working with Pakistani and India, joining from Pakistan live. So together they bring a really wide range of experience and global insight into the residency process. And they're going to share it with you from strategy, mentorship to the real challenges IMGs face in trying to secure interviews, strengthen their profiles, and ultimately match into U.S. residency. So we're very glad to have them here with us. And today we're going to start this panel discussion with Dr. Sebastian Aruarana. Dr. Sebastian is a physician. He's a founder and CEO of Project IMG, and we're very interested to hear his opinions, his advice, and please, Dr. Aruarana, go ahead. The floor is yours. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Ruta, thank you for the introduction. And yes, it's very tough times this year as we have never seen before. Definitely. Right now I'm in Chicago, about to fly to New York in a couple of hours. I was here for the House of Delegates for AMA meeting, and I'm part of the IMG Governing Council of the AMA. That means I'm the represent all the residents and fellows IMGs. And these were all the discussions we were having during this week and also throughout the community and all the messages that we get. One of the big uncertainties and how to face them is the visa situation. I think this year is something that, as we have never seen before, we have 39 countries that are banned and they cannot do the change of status. We also have seen doctors are doing the residency PGY1s and PGY2s that were taken by ICE and they were legally working. So my advice, it's a lot of things happening and I get messages from IMGs from all over the world, from India, from Pakistan. Should I continue this journey? I still haven't taken my step one. What should I do? And I always tell them, you have to be ready when the moment comes. And right now, you should continue for sure. You should continue taking your steps, be there and have everything ready when the moment comes. Because you don't know, the moments might come. Every 15 minutes, we get an update. Like 2 days ago, a judge went against what's happening with the H1B situation, and now the H1B situation apparently is gonna go back, and we don't have to. Then I'm gonna charge the $100,000. Some of the alternative pathways that are opening up, I think, very interesting. For the moment until you match when you're not trying to get money, those are good also, because if you are happen to get right now, it's not working. But if you happen to, for example, be working like that and get paid while you are working, since many states are opening up, and then match to a residency spot, that's a great opportunity. Another thing, it's keep your mentors and keep those connections with the US always alive, and try to. There's two types of IMGs at this moment: the ones that have the visa to come, or the ones that don't. If you have the visa to come to the US, you should take advantage. I know it's very expensive. I try to take advantage to come to conferences. I was just at the AMA this year. We did last November, AAMC, FSMB, the ACP, American College of Physicians. And many of my own colleagues in my hospital, I just finished my residency. They want to go to cardiology, and everyone that wants to cardiology only focus, for example, in the American Heart Association and the cardiology conferences, and they don't see the value, which is so much, of going to conferences like where, for example, the AMA, the ACP, and there's so many like that there's the biggest leaders, the ACGME also. They have the biggest. All the program directors are in that room and walking around, and there's almost no residents and fellows. So don't go where all the fishes are there, where everyone is trying to, to fight. They try to, look at ways around. And I think another great thing that you should do is, I always tell everyone, have a nice social media profile and also have it public. I can give you two stories from that. One, it's one of my colleagues. She's a PGY2, that she has her mortgage in New York, has everything, her car. She went to Argentina to renew her J1, and it was refused. It was declined. So she was very stressed during her vacations. She was having the worst time. And it was because one of her social media profiles was private. So then she put it public, then they review it, and then they approve it. Then now she's back to work. But the same time that you should have a public social media, because they are looking into you, you should have a good presence on social media. If you go to a conference, or if you do any publication, put it there, show what you're doing, especially on LinkedIn. You can't imagine the people that I have personally met and also network only through social media and only through LinkedIn. And you stay updated on on what you are doing. Yeah, those are some of my advices, and I will say, don't over stress on the things. Keep focus on what you're doing. Life is, minute by minute, step by step, and your end goal is to match in the US, and you see everything that's happening, but you still have to take, let's say, your step one or your step two or your OET, go for that. Or if you have done everything and you're waiting to come here to do your step three, you should definitely at this moment in life, if you have your visa, come here to take your step three before the match. That will put you in a very, very high position. And if you haven't, let's say for visa situations, you're not getting your visa yet and you cannot take your step three, what are you going to do? Start working in your country, of course, get that experience. Um, but at the same time, try to work on things related to the US, meaning try to get some research done. And there's so many opportunities you can do find your mentor in your school, in your college. But also, if you work with US residents, you can work on meta-analysis, which doesn't have to be a HIPAA issue. And that's what we do a lot, with people from all over the world. I cannot work on a case report from my hospital due to HIPAA compliance, but we can work all on a systematic review and get the data. Yeah, those are some advices. If you have any questions, I'm happy
Thank
to.
you so much. Thank you so much. I just wanted to reiterate what I heard, right? You said uh, keywords, networking, relationship building, right? Like go out there, participate in conferences, go out there to the world, right? Meet people, build relationships. Also, a social media presence, right? If you can show off your experience in social media, do it, right? Because people might look at you, and even for the visa situations, it's good to have a good and appropriate social media profile. Also, if you are not able to get a position right now, work. Do not sit on a couch and wait and hope. Work, do research, and kind of learn and train yourself before you become a resident. Thank you so
And
much.
try to join other organizations also. For example, if
Yeah.
you're Latino, there's a National Certified Maker Association. If you want to join the AMA, you have to be CFMG certified. If you got your certification, you can join. If you can join the ACP, you can join the American College of Surgeons. There are so many organizations that you can join and start getting their emails. So see who is part of the leadership, start joining their webinars. That's a way of start getting connected, start seeing who is who and the names. Because at the moment, the other day, yes, I was having a dinner, and next to me was the former U.S. Surgeon General, and I was able to recognize her because I know her from the past, and I talked to her, and like, she said, yeah, we want to work with you, but just because I knew her face from the past, and the same with the president of ACO. I was recently with her, and like, because I did previously OBGYN, I know who was now. But if you are interested, on that, let's say on OBGYN, see who is on ACOG, be part of ACOG, see who is the president, the vice president, and get embedded into those organizations, little by little.
Wonderful. That's such wonderful advice. Nice to see you, my old friend, Dr. Sebastian. And
Hey, my friend.
thank you for
We
doing this.
miss you this year in the event.
Yes, yes. And next event we're going to be there. So really what Dr. Sebastian and what he's saying is absolutely right. See, what you need is a team of advocates behind you. You need someone that believes in you, that can give you proper advice. You don't get your advice from Reddit, right? And what Dr. Sebastian is saying is you never give up. If you want to be a doctor in America, and each of us have a different journey, and what you've created with the IMG events and that networking and that support system and the program directors that come is, if you are known and your face is known and you have an advocate, a team behind you. Down the street is Geffen School of Medicine. If you went to Geffen School of Medicine, you would have a whole team of counselors behind you. They would have a war room post-match, and they'd put you in a prelim somehow, some way, because that's part of that territory. But as an international medical graduate, you are almost considered second tier, unfairly so. So in that, you get a group like IMG, and of course, Residence Medical and the immense network that we have. And you slowly and methodically build that alliance, and you build someone that's with you that is a decision maker. And that just comes by being exposed, by having your CV with minimal gaps, being the first to go to the tenure, the last to leave the tenure, even if it's an observership and that's all you can get. Mind you, as a new program starts, the minute they start, they get, let's say there's 7 residency positions, they get almost 1,000 applicants, right? And what do? They put a pile, US grads, DO, IMGs, IMGs with visa. So you're already starting 4 steps behind in the race. But if you know that you met them at a conference or you met somebody through your tenures, it's a small world, medicine. And as you are exposed, as you build advocates, you will find a Dr. Anderson, you'll find a Dr. Sebastian, you'll find a Dr. Everest that will go and fight for you. So really, it's about getting out there. It's a slow game. Very rarely will someone come. I mean, even this year, we have students in our roster, our residency candidates, 250 scores, 255 scores. We had a 274 score that wanted to go into general surgery, but his only negative aspect, if you will, was that he was a non-US IMG. So you have to get advocates behind you. I'm very proud to have our distinguished panel from India, Pakistan, Latin America. The Latin American societies are very powerful. They're a powerful lobbying group. So if you come from any of the Latin American groups, you join those societies. I mean, Dr. Sebastian doesn't make much money off IMG event. He does it out of his heart. Dr. Pena advocates for people, almost as a mom and pop shop, but he's doing it because he cares about people. So you find people like that. You find people like Miss Ruta that goes and wakes up at 7 in the morning for her candidates and goes to sleep at 11 o'clock at night while she's cooking for her little kids. She's advocating for her students. You find people like Mr. Abhishek in India that goes and just farms the right people, or Mr. Tassim in Pakistan. So you have people out there, you just have to find them.
And last thing I want to say, it's very important to, everyone talks about the 30 seconds elevators, pitch. I will say, 50, all the doctors are busy. So in 15
Yes.
seconds, you have to know to put yourself, if you meet anyone and like, hey, doc, I want to go to a program. I need a position. Everyone is telling them that. But do
Yeah.
something interesting on the side. Let's say you volunteer in an organization, you're doing blood draws, whatever you're doing on the side, and you can be with that person. Hey, doc, I'm applying, but also I do this on the side. And sometimes we need speakers. We want someone from our webinar, someone to inspire our community. Can I get your contact for a future webinar with us, with a future and that would be way more easier to get in contact with that person and then do a follow-up meetup than anything else. And then because don't just say, hey, I'm applying, I have 250 in this. No, everyone is saying that. You're going to be just part of the same. You want to see how you can grab their attention and get their contact.
100%, 100%. Very wise advice. And thank you, Dr. Sebastian. I know you have to run. It's an honor and pleasure. And Residence Medical looks to continue to support and partner with IMG events because what you do is amazing work in giving people hope and really, really doing it. So any way we can support you in your personal journey and in your enterprise, we are honored. And thank you for your valuable time, my dear friend.
Thank you so much. I'm going to start my fellowship now on July 1st in the NIH, and I'm getting
Nice.
excited and continue working together. It was a
Congratulations. Pleasure. Congratulations. We're really, really proud of you. We'll touch bases offline too. It's been a while since I've seen you, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks. I think that the next thing that we should really move in is, I don't know if it's been touched upon, is statistics. What I'd be interested in knowing from Mr. Simon, from Mr. Abhishek, from Mr. Tassim, and Mr. Anderson is, what are the, excuse me, what is the local energy? If the single most fearful aspect of the current climate to achieve residency or fellowship in America, what is the number one factor that you are dealing with? Let's start with Mr. Simon. Yeah, in the Chinese market.
Hi everyone. My name is Simon, and I'm the Chinese medical graduate specialist from Residency Medical. I want to mention a little bit about myself. I'm not a doctor, but I was an international student myself. I graduated from USC, so I really understand how most ING feels today. And over the past year, I have talked one-on-one with more than 300 Chinese applicants. I also went through the match cycle twice, so I have pretty good idea about what most Chinese applicants are worried about. And I think one of the things that most people forgot about this is that most Chinese, I'm sorry, most Chinese students think this is an exam. Like they feel like, oh, because in China, when we apply for college, you don't need a personal statement. You don't need a recommendation letters. All you need to do is just go to the exam and then take a good scores. So when most Chinese students, especially medical students, when they're trying to apply for this residency, they would thought, oh, as long as I have a good USAMLY scores, then everything should be fine. But unfortunately, applying residency is not an exam, it's a job hunting. I think we should remind ourselves that it's a job hunting. Your score decides whether a program is willing to take a closer look, but they do not decide whether you match or not. So what actually decides it is the connection. So we can think about imagine you're a college student. You try to look for a part-time job, right? If you want to be a tutor. One student get a direct referral from a professor say, hey, this is a good kid, hire him. And another come through a professional agency with a track record, say, we train this person, we stand by him. So it's not about a score, it's about having someone who will vouch for you when we talk about applying a job. So that's why what I want to say about the first point about this is and also this is a big part what we're doing at Residency Medical. We help international medical graduate students. Even though you don't have an American medical school professor to vouch for you, we can be that person for you.
Very well. Thank you. Very well said. Thank you, Mr. Simon. We're really proud of you, how you're really helping the Chinese native and really paying it back to your home country. So we're really proud to have you in this country. Mr. Abhishek, what is the number one problem that you're seeing? You've been deeply involved with the Kaplan Group in the USMLE test prep. From a residency perspective, what is the number one fear that you are dealing with the boots on the ground with the students there?
Thank you so much for the question, Dr. Everest. Hi everyone. My name is Abhishek, MD for Logiquest in India. For the last 20 years, I've been helping international students, especially from India. And let me start by being completely honest here. For Indian IMGs, the 2026 math cycle was one of the most challenging cycles that we've seen in the recent years. And many highly qualified candidates with strong scores, with CVs, US experience, Excel, etc., without interviews, or they just went without any match. Now this doesn't mean that residency has become impossible, but it means that the margin of error has become much more smaller. Now there are certain reasons that I can clearly see. One is, the biggest challenge is the year of graduation scrutiny. Now one major challenge is, like, earlier, a few years ago, about 4 to 5 years from graduation was not necessarily a deal breaker, but today many programs are filtering out applications much more aggressively. Plus, the program directors are increasingly, they want candidates who are currently clinically active. If someone's graduated 6 or 7 years ago and cannot clearly demonstrate, clinical activities, research productivity, or any continued professional development, they face an uphill battle. And that's why the unfortunate reality is that two applicants with identical scores may have viewed very differently, simply because one graduated recently and the other graduated several years ago. So this is one of the major deal breaker. The second thing which I'd like to give an input is the USMLE scores and the step one pass fail era. Now earlier, it was a three-digit score, right? So people used to worship the exam religiously, but now, just because since the time it's become a pass or fail, especially Indian students have become very casual about it, and the entire focus is now shifted on the step two CK scores. So many students fail to get the desired CK scores, and they feel, just because their seniors passed with the XYZ score, so they're just following a simple footstep of their senior, and without even knowing whether they are following the right footstep or not. So here it's very important for students to know and identify that every specialty has a different cutoff. So you got to set your benchmark and then start working on that as far as your step to CK is concerned. One of the things that I'd also want to add is, since you know that India produces one of the highest IMG pools across the globe, so that is something that we should be proud about, and which we are, but it reflects in the strength of the medical education and the ambition of the Indian graduates. Now, so having said that, it means that Indian IMGs are often competing against the exceptional strong other IMGs. And when thousands of applicants, they have similar scores, similar observerships, similar CVs, programs, they begin, looking into the factors that distinguish one candidate over the other. And that's where standing out today requires the most important factor, which students somewhere just don't understand, or they kind of miss out on that. Visa challenges is now also, piling up, and that is the reason why even most programs would want to look forward for, visa specific candidates. So blindly applying anywhere may not be the right strategy. Like, okay, fine. Since if I feel that, applying 100 candidates is a low chance, let me apply to 200 places. So that may not be the right strategy, because again, you are applying blindly, left, right, and center, without even knowing whether you have a right strategy or not. So why
Yeah.
2026 was particularly difficult? One is, the biggest reason, as I said, was the traditional formula does not, help you any longer. So previously, many candidates believed that passing the exam and obtaining some clinical experience from somewhere and applying broadly would lead to interviews, but that does not help any longer. So in 2026, we've seen that candidates exactly doing the same thing, and they are struggling. So they will have to change their route, they will have to change the strategy, and the process has become more strategic than ever. So programs are looking at evidence that applicants understand the specialty, they understand the goals, and have to build a different coherent around their application. So
Very well. Very
yeah,
good
so
advice, Mr. Abhishek. That's its weight in gold. Wonderful job. Now shifting to our wonderful Dr. Anderson, who's had an illustrious career and pathway, and how he sacrifices for international graduates, specifically our Latin American or Latin graduates. What is the single most factor that you're seeing in that demographic of the world, Dr. Pena, and a little about how you seek to overcome these obstacles?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Evers. It's a pleasure to be here, collaborating with you guys. So I'm Dr. Anderson Pena. I'm practicing Los Angeles, California, originated from Brazil, and IMG as well. Being in the United States for about 11 years now, so really a solid decade. Seeing all these transitions and how difficult getting and landing to a residency position as an IMG can be. So my perception for the last cycle, and based on the pool of applicants from Brazil that I've worked with, I think the visa, and I agree with the other panelists as well, is that the visa restrictions and all the changes that have happened over the past like 18 months or so have been, I think, the biggest concern for those who are with the application ready and sent. For those who are still a few steps back, at least for the Brazilian, community that I've been working with, I believe the connections, and we talked, Dr. Sebastian mentioned about the networking, right? And creating this solid strategic network, and sort of like network of contacts that can actually advocate for you and help you position yourself strategically, so then you can increase your likelihood and your chances of matching successfully, has been also very difficult. And I think there are many reasons for that. Maybe the language, maybe the prestige of their institution, and then the lack of mentors who have had international experience that can actually share their social capital and then their network to help some of this bright students. And I agree with our Indian panelists that if you just getting the high scores is not actually helping you, and it's not a guarantee anymore that you're going to safely land a position. It's like a whole combination. With Simon mentioned about personal statements and letters of recommendation. Dr. Sebastian mentioned about your social media presence, and I remember when I was applying for residency in the US as an old grad about 8 years ago, being on Twitter with a professional academic sort of like profile was still kind of like growing. And over the years it's become this sort of like identity. I would see cycle and cycle, like IMGs positioning themselves as a very strong, with a very strong social media presence. And I think it is definitely a combination of things. Most specifically, the last cycle, I think the visa restrictions were definitely a pitfall. But I do believe that the strong network and having that support to build your profile and position yourself strategically is something that Residence Medical has had almost 30 years of successful experience helping IMGs successfully landing to residency, and I'm excited to see what's going to come for IMGs this cycle.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that wonderful advice. Mr. Tassim, you leading the Middle Eastern and Pakistani markets for Residence Medical. What has been your single most factor this year that you've seen fear-wise on the ground there in those demographics?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Everest. A little about myself. I am Sayed. I am with Residency Medical for the past 7 years, and I have been helping students and medical graduates with a variety of guidance and pathways leading to residency. I think this year, more since I am working with the IMGs, I think lack of knowledge about the matching process is one of the aspect I think that is causing the main issue. The reason is most of the students, they are over reliant on the alumni, like Dow International, Aga Khan, and King Edward. There are some other renowned medical schools like Alumni Equivalent and though Alumni Equivalent Medical College. Those have alumni in the states. They are, resident or working or are their fellows, so they can guide the students and the other students. Like in past 10 years, more than 50 medical schools have opened up and they are on the list of medical school directory and they are eligible to take USMLEs, but there is no proper institution for them to, guide. So this is what I am doing right now. I am, arranging seminars for those who need, help, and obviously they need someone who can, hold their hands and guide them through the process, and then obviously help them with different pathways leading to the residency. So yeah, this is what I want to do.
Thank you. And last but not least, the best for last, Ms. Ruta, you leading the global footprint of Residence Medical. What have you found to be a really a mitigating factor? I know that visas have been a big issue, but just last week you put 2 J1 visa folks into residency, into psychiatry and internal medicine, and we've been, pushing that forward. What has been the biggest impediment as far as your whole team here that you work with and at headquarters that you deal with on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. Thank you for the question, Dr. Evers. Just before answering the question, we really see a lot of different profiles of international medical graduates. It's very important. Every candidate is different. Every candidate has different obstacles that they need to overcome or red flags on their CVs. Some of them are new grads with great scores, did not match. Some of them are older grads with multiple failed attempts, did not match. Some of them require visa, some of them do not. So seeing all that kind of full picture of these really different profiles, I still think there's only one way to get into residency is a very clear plan, strategy, and support system around you. We deal with candidates on a daily basis, and some of them, they come to us and they say, you know what, I did not match this year. I will wait for the next match. I will spend a year in my home country. I will work and I will just wait and I will try again. And they try again and the same thing happens. And they already lost another year. They come back to us after 2 years and they say, I should have listened to you. What we are seeing, strategy, preparation, commitment, dedication, real plan. I always say to my candidates, if you do something, you have to do everything that will bring you closer to residency. I understand getting letters of recommendation. I understand, doing rotations. Yes, it is good, but you have to have that support system around you that if you are doing that rotation, that will actually bring you closer to residency, meaning that you might know someone inside. You would rather do a rotation at an institution that you have a connection there, that somebody recommended you there. That's why you're spending two months within that institution. That can literally open the door for you, right? So, to really kind of wrap up the question, the answer. A lot of the candidates, a lot of the IMGs, that they do not have the strategy. They do not have the strategic approach. And what all of the panelists talked about it, all of the things matter. It's networking, relationship building, being active, participating in the events, really understanding the system. All of that matters, but the candidate has to put all of that into a strategy. What am I building?
And that's really a reason to have a support system. And I'll kind of sum up 2 bullet points that we haven't touched upon, and I'm sure that Dr. Anderson and the panel will agree, I hope. The first thing is capitalism is all who you know. So you have to build your contact network. You have to have people that vouch for you. And the second is, in this era, and this is what Residence Medical has really been at the forefront, we're going to be offering a master's degree with AI and academic medicine is you have to be AI friendly, AI native. We are living in a world where medicine is changing. You have armchair quarterbacks in patients that they go to ChatGPT and they know more than their doctor in their mind, right? So you being sophisticated as a candidate in artificial intelligence on a deeper level, whether it's agentic AI, whether it's learning how to navigate it. We just helped an individual get into anesthesiology and on US IMG for a new program that opened up. And the big mitigating factor of why they picked him over these US grads with tremendous master's degrees and even PhDs is because of his passion and his forward thinking and being AI native and AI friendly. AI native meaning that he can go help the program get there. Because what's happening is from the top, they are told you have to have an AI strategy, right? And usually what the AI strategy is Microsoft Copilot, but that's not really an AI strategy. The doctors that are going to be the doctors and leaders of the future will embed artificial intelligence on a deeper level in their learning outcomes and in their day-to-day operations of treating a patient. So let's go to a question. I'll have Mr. Anderson. How about you answer this one? This is from an audience member. If someone has passed step 1 and step 2 with a good score, but haven't secured a visa appointment yet, given the instability in the region and problem with embassy appointments, would you suggest applying on the basis of letter of recommendations from telerotations? Do you want to take that, or who wants to take a chance at that?
I can comment on that. So I think in that case, my advice would be strategically hold the application and continue strengthening networking. If you don't have that possibility. And I think the other options would be to, in the case of residence medical, assess what other visas. They're not specifically the J1 visa that is sponsored by ECFMG to be able to actually transition physically to the United States. And then you can actually continue strengthening your CV through networking, national, international presentations, publications, and successfully, more strategically apply for the next cycle. So I think I would see that in that way. I do personally think that telerotations may add like a very low value. And I think if you don't have absolutely any other letters, then you could use that as an alternative. But I think looking at this more strategically, having the space to strengthen your profile would be actually more efficient in the long run.
Yes, 100%. That's very good advice. Also, what I would suggest is in most of these countries, there is an international presence with American Red Cross, with Doctors Without Borders. And a lot of those doctors come from America and volunteer their time. So if you go join a group like that and you volunteer with international, being in your home country, people coming internationally, whether it's from Europe, whether it's from America, especially America, they have pretty much large presence through the United Nations, through the American Red Cross, through Doctors Without Borders, although it's a French company. And you go and you align with somebody there, because I can promise you, if you're on the forefronts of a war-torn country and you're volunteering and assisting, then that doctor, when he comes back to America, will remember you. And Residence Medical has been known to help make those connections and think strategically outside the box. Here's a question, another question from the audience. Would you guys be willing to help an IMG who's not from your home country? I mean, my home country is America, so I would be willing to help an IMG that's not from my home country. We help internationally. If you look on this panel, you have about 5 continents that are being represented here. So we will help anybody and everyone that has a passion to uplift our American healthcare system and that has a passion to be a doctor and change the trajectory of their generation by practicing in what I believe is the best healthcare system in the world in the United States of America. And yeah, and just as a unfun fact, right? Not a fun fact. Most international medical graduates spend about anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 upwards throughout each cycle, going unmatched. So what I would suggest is also change your strategy, because if you're circling around the same mountain, chances are you're going to get the same results and not different results. And I'm not. That's something that Residence Medical has really pointed out to some of our students. Right, Mr. Abhishek, is that like have a strategy that's different, that's unique, and just kind of little pointers that I just gave you in going to these international organizations or having a group that really, really can vouch for you wherever you are. Because, you know, and also on your social media, please stay apolitical. Whatever, we all have personal beliefs, but you don't share them on social media because it's only going to hurt you, right? Especially if you're trying to come as a visitor in the country. Come and your focus should be train as a doctor here and either go back to your country if you're on a J1 or stay here and serve in a vulnerable population or rural area to help our doctor shortage. That should be your only goal. That should be your only mantra online.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
yeah,
Sort of like, I completely agree with you. You just mentioned a while ago. So the first, I feel, I mean, I've noticed the first mistake that students do is treating the residency applications like a number game. So many applicants submit hundreds of applications across multiple specialties, hoping that someone would work. But programs can often tell that who lacks focus, and that's where the candidates who perform best usually have clearly defined the specialty choice and carefully selected the total number of list of programs that align their profile. So it's not just about applying broadly, but it's about applying intelligently.
yes, that's very good. Thank you for that. I'll leave this question with you, Mr. Simon. And one thing that Mr. Simon really helps with, and that's a very known fact in China, but not outside. If you are a medical student from China of China nationality, then as I understand it, right, Mr. Simon, they're not going to let you apply. They're not going to stamp your J1 visa. So your only visa capability to come to America and practice medicine or as a resident is an H1 visa, and those are very, very, very difficult to get. So that's another thing that Mr. Simon has really been honing on in working with the programs that we have partnerships with, is getting these Chinese native students into programs with H1 visas. And now with the $100,000 rule on hold, this is a time where there'll be an influx of excitement in that. But even without that, there's a lot of ways to skin that cat. So you want to add on that a little bit, Mr. Simon?
Yes, this is a good point. I want to talk about this, like the J1 visa problem. But before I talk about this J1 visa, I want to please let me go off the topic for a minute and talk about AI. We circle about with AI, but I will talk about J1 with AI too. So in AI, there's like a very basic idea called machine learning. First, you feed a machine a huge amount of data, then it finds patterns in that data, and in the end, you train a model you can trust. So in simple words, when you have enough data, you can find rules you can really trust. But when you don't have enough data, the so-called experience may just be luck. So why do I mention this? Because in 2025, about 1,000 people from India got physician status through a J1 visa. From China, we don't know the number because the US government didn't disclose it because it's less than 30. So it's like a 30 to 1 gap. So in Residence Medical, over 30 years, we have a lot of more than thousands of Indian applicants. The large Indian sample is exactly why we can spot real patterns. We know what each program is actually looking for. So you might think because I saw there's somebody asking the question, say, do you help people from Africa? And also sometimes people will from China will ask me, do you know how to help a Chinese candidate? I will feel like yes, because in every hospital's eyes, we are all IMGs, right? It doesn't matter which country you come from, you're IMG. You have the same category, you have the same standard. So when you ask one of two seniors around you, you're working with a sample size of one. That's not a good machine learning. That's not good enough amount of the data you can learn from. But it's not useless, but it's not a pattern you can rely on. So I would suggest for many applicants outside of Indian market, if you want reliable guidance, you have to go where the data is deep enough to trust, is where most Indian physicians knows, and also the most majority people we help for the past 30 years.
That's very, very, very intelligent and very intellectually put. Thank you. We'll do one or two more questions, and then I'll wrap up with some closing comments. This question, let's have this for you, Mr. Tassim. Are there any limitations around applying for observerships, rotations, if someone is already in the US on a research visa? I'll hook this with one thing. If you're already on a research visa, you should be trying to do observerships in the organization that you're doing the research in, because they'll have you working 12 some hours, get very, very sophisticated in biostats and statistical analysis using artificial intelligence. But go ahead, Mr. Saeed. Let's have you answer that. You're mute. You're muted.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Since I work with the IMGs from Pakistan, and if someone has the visa and they are in the States and they are doing the research, if the program allows, they are allowed to do clinicals for the 4 weeks, and they can do the clinicals at the same program as well, and then get LOR according to their performance. And yeah, that is what I think.
Great. Thank you. Let's do one more question, then we'll do a round of closing thoughts. And so we'll wait for the question. I'll answer this last one. It says, I want to know regarding the strategy for the USMLE Step 1 failed attempt, how to overcome that. So that's a very good question. You can't change the past. If you have attempt or attempts, that's what it is. So USMLE Step 1, especially if you're a non-US IMG, will correlate a lot of clinical knowledge and the stuff that you were supposed to learn in medical school year, the earlier years. So your strategy should be getting an exemplary Step 2 score, passing your Step 3, getting extensive hands-on clinical. Now, there's a big difference in our world between observerships and hands-on clinical. There are only 7 states that allow that. You can go onto our website and talk to our lifelike avatar that will explain that to you, or call the offices. But your strategy should be get a good Step 2 score, pass Step 3, integrate into a program that will really, really take you seriously. I have a lot of non-US IMGs that say, I only want a university program, and that's it. There's a lot of university programs that from top are mandated only to help US grads, and in some cases, not even DO grads. So you have to have a realistic strategy, as Mr. Simon said, in a program that would have a university affiliation, but also is international medical graduate friendly. So to summarize your question and answer, you have to get an exemplary Step 2 score. You have to pass Step 3, and something that Residence Medical will help you with is sit you in a program and help prepare for the in-training service exam, because that's a direct correlation of if you will pass your boards or not. And the nightmare of every residency program is remediation and someone not passing their boards. Everyone from top to bottom gets yelled at for that, and accreditation is at risk. So there's ways to overcome that, not synthetically, and using that as an example of how you overcome. People love an overcome story. People love a story of dusting yourself up and getting up and marching forward. So that can be a very, very good antidote. So let's give about 30 seconds to everybody and then we'll end it and we can go from there. Mr. Abhishek, you please, sir, first.
Yeah, so I'd just like to leave a message for everyone. Like the pathway to US residency still exists for the Indian IMGs. It's just undoubtedly the most competitive than the last few years, but competitive does not mean it's impossible. The candidates who succeed are usually the ones who have perfect applications, and they are the ones who are honest about where they stand and being realistic about their gaps and willing to adapt their strategies. So if this match cycle taught us anything, it is just that its success really requires more than the hard work. And it really requires planning, self-awareness, mentorship, and willingness to approach the process differently. So assess your profile honestly, identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, build a strategy around your individual circumstances rather than following a generic advice. And most importantly, remember that this one setback in a match cycle does not define your future. The goal remains achievable for those who stay focused, stay adaptable, and continue to move forward. Thank you, everyone. And I wish every future IMG the very best on their journey towards the residency in the United States.
Thank you so much. And if we have members in India right now, please reach out to our RM offices with Mr. Abhishek, and he'll be happy to accommodate you and send you upstream to the headquarters. Thank you, Mr. Abhishek. Mr. Tasim, if you can wrap this up really quick.
Yeah, sure. As the closing words to wrap this up, just follow the process and pattern of matching includes like your clinical skills, your research work, and then obviously year of graduation and good scores. If you start early, earlier the better. If you start early and like in third year or fourth year of medical school, you can start your USMLE journey. And in the meantime, you can apply for the visitor visa that is B1, B2, and that is 5-year multiple visa. One can travel to the States and then do electives and come back to join the medical school. And they can again travel for the clinical experience and get LOR. Then in the meantime, pass their CK or step 3, and get ready for the match. So starting early is a point I would say one should follow. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Mr. Simon, any closing thoughts, please?
Yes. So at last, I want to talk about we really hope the future IMG doctors will have all the courage to imagine your future as a resident in the US. You will no longer be trapped by anxiety and confusion, but we know that as long as you dare to dream, we can help you see that path and get the support you need and reach the future you want. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Dr. Anderson, any closing advice, sir?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. And I would say, be consistent, work on your motivation every single day, and then just know that this is not an impossible journey. It's difficult, but we have all the support here to help you succeed and stay consistent with your skills. Get a consultation with Residence Medical. We can help you leverage your strengths and then find where the weaknesses are, the blind spots, and then help you position yourself strategically for a successful match. So I wish everyone best of luck from an IMG from 2018, and just count on us for helping you succeed. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Anderson. Anybody that's chiming in from China, please reach out to Mr. Simon. Anybody from the Latin American countries or stateside, please reach out to Dr. Anderson. We are here to help and serve the shortage. Ending it with Ms. Ruta. Any closing thoughts, ma'am?
Sure. First of all, thank you everyone who joined this webinar. Really, really kind of an exciting topic because the new match is upcoming pretty soon. So a lot of work is waiting ahead of us. I just wanted to say again, I'm repeating myself, it's all about preparation. It's not only about credentials anymore. Preparation, strategy, planning, and also find that support system. And I also say to our candidates who come to us, it's okay to seek for help. It's okay to seek for help, and the help is always out there. So thank you, everyone, and looking forward to work with a lot of IMGs for the upcoming match.
Thank you so much. And really in closing, I would like to thank every individual that's spent an hour of their time, both on the panel and our audience. Thank you so much. When I really founded this organization almost 3 decades ago, I had a vision to help people, help the downtrodden, help the ones that had no clue how to achieve their dream residency, as I call it. And what I want to do is give you guys hope. Dream big. It is possible. Have a strategy and be realistic. The sky is the limit in America. You can achieve whatever you want. Just as Mr. Simon has that bright blue Santa Monica sky behind him, that's as big as your dreams can be in this great country. We are here to help you. You can contact us. We have a global footprint, as you can see, and book a time with any individual you want, and we'll be happy to help you and guide you achieve your dream residency or fellowship. Thank you so much for joining us. And Residence Medical is honored to help each and every doctor that we've helped.